Hey Canucks fans, welcome to Clay's Canucks commentary for Wednesday, May the 1st. I'm Clay Emo, I'm at Canuck Clay on Twitter. I'm at Clayton Emo on Instagram. I'm the founder of the GLCBC, the Good Looking Canucks Positivity Club, and this is my Canucks take, all in one take. Rest in peace, Jason Botchford. Yes, today we learned the sad news this morning of the sudden death, the unexpected death, the 48-year-old writer-reporter Jason Botchford. Very popular here in Vancouver among Canucks fans, often touted as the voice of the fans, or at least a certain section of the fans. Regular contributor at TSN 1040, regular contributor at The Athletic, on TSN TV, many things. Obviously, longtime writer at the province. And I just want to make this video. I'm not monetizing this. It's not about the views. I just simply want to express my condolences, my prayers, and my sympathy for Botchford's family, his wife Kathryn, their 3 children, 2 daughters and a son, and everyone who knew him and worked with him and had the pleasure of broadcasting, writing, interviewing, serving with him. And I want to say right off the bat that I know that in Jason Botchford's world, I was very little. Compared to, there's many more people, dozens, hundreds, thousands of people, well, at least hundreds, who know him way better than I do, right? Those that have worked with him, have broadcasted with him, written with him, everything. And I get all that. And they will have much more poignant things to say, things that, better stories or more experiences to draw from, obviously. But I do want to express my gratitude to Jason Botchford, just for who he was to me. And I can only obviously talk about my experience with him, my personal experience with him. Others will talk about their experiences with him as well, and the impact he's had in Vancouver media, sports media, in national sports media, among the Vancouver Canucks fan base and all that. But for me, for Jason and me, he was always so gracious. He was always so kind. He always took the time out to chat with me. And that's the one thing, that I really appreciate. And we would chat as men, as equals, as colleagues, so to speak. Even though he's got like 56,000 more followers than I am. But it's not about, today I'm not talking about the following or the influence. I just want to talk about the man that Jason was. So I met him about 6 or 7 times in person. We've had constant, I'll talk about the online back and forth later, but we had 6 or 7 actual encounters in person. Some very quick, just a quick hello at a golf tournament or whatever. Actually, one funny story was just at the recent Jake Milford golf tournament where I was volunteering. Him and Jeff Patterson and Patrick Johnson, Kevin Woodley, a bunch of other media guys were chatting, and I basically had to get to my whole assignment. So I walked by, shook all their hands, hey, good morning, guys, nice to see you, and I walked away. And then later he DM'd me on Twitter, said, yeah, thanks for big timing us at the golf tournament. It's something so silly, something that wasn't obviously my intention, but the way he just put it kind of made me giggle and made me feel good about myself, quite frankly. And that's the thing that Jason did as well, is he's made he made me feel good about myself, and he always encouraged me when it came to my vlogs. He admitted that he watched some of them, not all of them, of course. I don't think anyone does, but he watched some of the vlogs. He definitely knew of all the Canuck songs we did, and he'd have no problem telling me the ones he liked and the ones he thought were a bit cringy. So that was always kind of funny. But we'd always have this back and forth, sometimes publicly, about my goal was to get Jason Botchford into one of my Canucks parody songs. So he didn't have to know what I was doing, but he did know what I was doing. I don't think he was keeping a watchful eye, but he certainly knew that I was vlogging, that I was writing these songs, and that I was hanging around on the team. And him and Jeff Patterson, they've poked fun of me on 2 podcasts now about my connections with the team, or my back and forth with them in the media, or whatever it may be. And again, this isn't about them acknowledging me or knowing who I was, but it's talking about the way Jason Botchford, despite how popular he was, that he did make time for people. At least that's what I experienced. And like I said, whenever we got together, it was always fun. We always talk Canucks. We'd talk about his, what he likes about the team, what he doesn't like. He'd ask me my opinion. So it wasn't him just talking and me listening. He would ask me good questions about why I think this, or why I said this, or why I believe in this. And sometimes that was done publicly, sometimes that was done privately, and that was so good. But most importantly, despite all of our hockey talk, and obviously we have a shared passion for the Vancouver Canucks. Despite how much we talked about hockey, and we always did, it would always loop back to family. With Jason Botchford, our conversations would always loop back to family. And that's the one thing that I'm going to remember. That's the one thing that makes me so sad. Despite how much he influenced the sports media landscape here, the coverage of the Vancouver Canucks, the accessibility to inside stories, and to, you know, all the botchisms that came out. You know, I think he was the one that started Deaky Pete. He's the one that started, you know, many things like the Alien and things like that. And I'm sure there's many, many more, you know, Little Things Louie, whatever it may be. Despite all that influence, we would, and all that fun that we'd have in common about the Canucks, we would always loop back to family. He would always tell me about his wife, Kathryn. He would always tell me about his 2 daughters and his son. This was in between all Canucks talk and hockey pool talk. But we would always talk about what our wives, our respective wives and our respective kids were up to. He knew that my kids were proficient in bowling. He knew that my eldest son, Sean, was graduating from high school this year. So that was one thing. That was the one thing that I'll miss and that I'll cherish. So that's what I wanted to express today, that how much I appreciated Jason Botchford, not only for what he did for Canucks fandom, but as I'll say, as a friend to me. We're not best friends. We weren't best friends, but we certainly knew enough about each other where we could talk about more than just Canucks, talk about important things as well. Some would say more important things like work and especially like family. So I'm going to pray for the repose, the rest of the soul of Jason. And, you know, 48 years old, apparent heart failure, too young, by any means, too young to leave this earth. So I'm going to pray for the rest of his soul. I'm going to pray for his wife, Kathryn, and their 3 children, and Jason's extended family as they grieve in this very difficult time. And, yeah, it just makes me, you know, I'm only 4 years younger than him, turning 45 in a couple of months. It makes me, you know, make sure that I'm okay, and that I stay healthy, and that I'm making proper decisions with exercise, food. You know, sadly we need these reminders sometimes. So that's another thing I'll take from this. But this isn't supposed to be about me. Jason Botchford, thank you for all that you've done, you know, for Vancouver Canucks fans, for local and national sports media, but more importantly for being a good friend to me. And we'll miss you. I will miss you. You know, things aren't going to be the same without you. But I hope that you'll find rest in your next place, and that you're going to keep everyone else in hockey heaven accountable, which I know you will. Have a great day, everyone watching this. Thank you for watching. And once again, we pray for the repose of the soul of Jason Botchford and for his entire family. God bless.